Santa's workshop. Santa's talking.
This Santa is answering the ho-ho hotline. He was trained by one of these three men. Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Jim Brennan.
Number two.
My name is Jim Brennan.
Number three.
My name is Jim Brennan.
Only one of these people is the real Jim Brennan, and is the only one sworn to tell the truth. Now let's meet our panel. Actor and raconteur, Orson Bean. Tony Award-winning actress, Peggy Cass. Star of the upcoming film, Lena's Holiday, Chris Lemmon. And to tell the truth's very own, Kitty Carlisle. Here's the host of To Tell the Truth, Lynn Swann.
Thank you. Hello, everyone, and Merry Christmas to you all, especially you, Marie Trammell, up in Greene County, California. Panel, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Did you all get what you wanted?
Yeah.
I always do.
You always do?
I always get what I want because I asked for it.
And that is the way to go. I'll tell you what, let's get right to the story presented by our first team of challengers, all three of whom claim to be Jim Brennan. And here is his story. Please, read along with me. I, Jim Brennan, believe in Santa Claus. I organized the Ho-Ho Hotline. It's a call-in program with more than 1,000 volunteer Santas and Mrs. Santas. All of them live in retirement homes, and some are in their 80s and 90s. Our Santas take a required training course at the Ho-Ho Academy. After all, Santas must have convincing ho-ho-hos, know all about the latest toys, know all the reindeer names, and, most importantly, perfect the gentle art of making no firm promises. Children's requests range from the hottest toys to baby brothers and sisters, jobs for parents, and food for Christmas dinner. We answer over 500,000 calls on an 800 toll-free number, and each call ends with Santa saying, Merry Christmas, I love you. Signed, Jim Brennan. We'll find out more about the Ho-Ho Hotline right after this. All right, panel, all three of these people claim to be Jim Brennan, and he has a Ho-Ho Hotline to Santa Claus. Kitty, we'll begin the questioning with you.
Number one, when did you start this?
In 1981.
And number two, how come these old folks know all the names of the latest toys and the reindeers and everything? They must be very extraordinary old folks.
They are, and I teach them. I have classes just before the holidays to teach them what are the latest toys that the children
And
will
number
call.
two, how old are you?
Ageless.
Number one, how do you tell children firmly but that they're not going to get what they're asking for?
Santa will do everything he can. There's so many children all over the world. He'll do the best he can.
Oh, that's very nice.
Kitty, thank you. Chris.
All right, number one, you say you have a training course. What is involved in that training course?
Teach them how to say ho-ho and make no promises.
I see. And number two, what were the hottest toys this year?
The Ninja Turtles, the Bart Simpson doll.
And number three, I'm noticing your eyes moving a lot. Do you drink a lot of coffee?
Sometimes, yes.
No, I'm just joking. You said you started the Ho-Ho Academy in 1981. Have there been any interesting incidences that have happened over the last 9 years?
Yes, several. I'm not sure that I can tell them on the air because they might be picked up by the people who said them.
Number one, can you answer that question?
Oh, time is up. Thank you. Peggy.
Number one, what are the names of the super mutant turtles?
I don't have to know the names of the turtles themselves.
I didn't ask you about that. I mean, I just thought maybe you would know them. Number three, how are you on the Santa's reindeer? Name four.
Dasher, Prancer, Vixen, Comet.
Oh, my dear, that's quite enough. Now, what number two, what toy says Kawarumba?
One of the Ninja Turtles.
Thank you. Number one, who pays for these toll-free calls?
The Hillhaven Corporation.
Thank you. Now, number 3, when you have classes for 1,000 people, where do you hold them? Dodger Stadium?
No, we hold them in the nursing homes that the people learn.
Now, what is...
Time
poor
is
Mrs.
up.
Santa.
Orson.
Number 2, do the volunteers dress up like Santa to answer the phone to get themselves in the spirit, or
They
not?
don't have to. We train them well enough verbally on the phone to learn, but they have attitude and they sometimes dress up.
Number 1, do you have any Mrs. Santas?
Oh, absolutely.
So
Many.
a kid can call in and reach Mr. Santa. Santa's out back behind the igloo, and well, that's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Number 3, now have you had any calls for the Milli Vanilli ventriloquist doll? That's a big one this year. No?
No.
None at all. Number...
Yeah, they'll send you one, but you won't get the real one. Okay. Listen, that bell means the time is up, and it's time, panel, for you to vote for either number 1, number 2, or Santa Claus number 3. Our team of challengers will receive $500 for each incorrect vote with a guarantee of $1,000. And if our panel is completely full, they'll receive $3,000. So, Kitty.
I like the answer number 1 gave about what the children are told. I thought that was kind and firm, and seemed to me it would have satisfied me if I'd been a child.
Chris.
Well, I saw number 1's eyebrows jump when Orson mentioned Nilly Vanilli, which leads me to believe that he is not the fellow. I just like the looks of number 2. It's that beard is doing something to me, so I voted for him.
Similar costumes, but the beards are all different.
The beard
Yes.
guy.
Peggy.
Well, the only one who answered my questions right was number 3. Number 1 didn't even know Donatello, and the other one, Bart Simpson, was the one who goes Cararumba or whatever that is. So I voted for number 3, who at least knew Prancer and Dancer and the rest of them. I never can do this. There it is.
Orson.
Well, this is the single most wonderful day of the year, and that sounds like the most wonderful job in the year. I voted for number 1. He convinced me. I'd hate to think that there's 2 Santa Clauses lying to me up there, but...
Well, with the voting all in, number 1 has 2 votes, number 2 has a vote, and number 3 also has a vote. Now it's time to find out who the real organizer of the Ho-Ho Hotline is, with a real Jim Brennan. Please stand up. Here we go, number 1. Listen, Jim, I forgot to put in my own personal order with Santa Claus for a gift. Can I put one in now?
Well, it's pretty late today, but for the next 2 days, there's the ho-ho thank you line, and you can call and at least thank for some of the gifts that you've gotten.
Oh, terrific. Well, I'll call him and thank him.
Okay.
Let's find out who your imposters are. Number 2, your name and what do you do?
My name is Rip Taylor.
Wonderful, Rip. Oh, that's great. That is terrific. Thank you for being here.
Pleasure.
Well, number 3, who are you and what do you do?
My name is Christopher Hewitt.
Mr. Belvedere. Oh, this is terrific. Absolutely terrific. What a
Everything
delightful
burst.
Christmas surprise.
What?
That's a delightful Christmas surprise having you both here on the show.
one, but nice. You should see the sweat that's falling from my pits.
Well,
He's swimming.
No, you shouldn't.
well, listen, you did a terrific job. There are 2 incorrect votes, which means your team will receive $1,000. Thank you all for being here on Christmas Day and playing on To Tell the Truth. We'll be back with a man who'll be having Christmas dinner with his family for the first time, his whole family. It's Christmas Day on To Tell the Truth. We're back, so let's meet our next team of challengers.
Number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is Dean Gilbert.
Number 2.
My name is Dean Gilbert.
Number 3.
My name is Dean Gilbert.
And panel, it's up to you to locate the real Dean Gilbert, and here is his story. Please read along with me. I, Dean Gilbert, found my brother and now my sister after a 35-year separation. When I was a baby, my parents fell on hard times, and unable to support 5 children, they made the heart-wrenching decision to put me and my baby sister up for adoption. For years, I knew I was adopted and yearned to see my family. On my 35th birthday, I hired a genealogist, and after months of combing through voting and public records, I found my parents. Then, I stumbled upon the phone number of a man I believed might be my brother. When I called, he thought I was kidding, but soon realized that I was his long-lost brother. Together, we located our missing sister. I've spoken to her on the telephone, and I can't wait to see her. This Christmas, we'll set a few more places at the family table for the members who are at long last home for the holidays. Signed, Dean Gilbert. Well, Orson, we'll begin with you in the story of unification.
What a great story. Number 2, now, will you be having Christmas dinner today with one or more of these siblings that you haven't known before?
The whole family.
The whole family,
yes,
all of you. Isn't that sensational? Yes. Number 3, what's your sister's name?
Adrian.
Adrian. Number 1, now, how has it been to suddenly have a new family after all this time?
25 more people in my life. It's wonderful.
45? You're talking about cousins?
25.
I mean, this is an extended family,
yes,
right?
But your time is up.
Wait, I need more time.
You'll have to extend it with Peggy.
What is Christmas?
Now, number 1, did you have foster parents?
Correct.
Number 2, 3, did you have foster parents or were you in an institution?
No, I had adoptive parents, yes.
Thank you. Well, number 2, did you keep your own name, Dean Gilbert, or did you have your foster parents' name?
My Gilbert is my foster parents' name. So
well, now, number 1, did your sister go under the name of Gilbert, too?
No.
No. Well, number 3, how did you find her?
Before I found my sister, I found the rest of my family. We just located my sister.
Well, number 2, did you live close to, in the same town as the rest of your family, or were you scattered all over the country?
No, we're amazingly close in the same state, within Southern California.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chris.
Number 3, I'm going to carry on that line of questioning. What exact incidents was it that made you, at the age of 35, finally decide to do this?
You know, life's funny. You can have material wealth and still feel an emptiness.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a very good answer. And when you found your sister, what'd you say her name was again?
Adrian.
Adrian, yeah. And you have met with Adrian?
No.
No, you're about to. Okay.
Yes.
Number 1, how did you know that the genealogist had put you on to the right family to begin with? Was it in talking to them? Did you discover in their voices, or did you have to ask them any questions?
The genealogist had done a lot of cross-checking, and we called these people and asked them certain pertinent questions.
And the questions were obviously answered.
Time is up. Thank you. Kitty.
Gosh, you know, in the many years that I've been on this show, we've had this situation quite a few times, and I have never known anyone who wasn't overjoyed at meeting their siblings and their parents. Is it possible that you wouldn't like them once you met them?
Which number? Who would you
Number
ask?
2.
Okay.
It's possible, but the anxiety or the anxiousness is just so overwhelming that when I did, I just cried. So.
Number 1, do you have the foster parents as well for this gathering?
No, they're not at this one. At a later date.
But not today.
Yeah. Time is up. Panel, time for you to vote for either number 1, number 2, or number 3. Orson.
Well, if they were mine, I wouldn't have given away any of them. But number 2 is adorable. I especially would have kept him.
Peggy.
And number 2 looks like Kenny Rogers, so I didn't vote for him. I voted for number 3. You were so sweet. I felt you might be putting it on. And number 1, you sort of didn't act so interested, so I figured you're fooling us and you're the real one.
There we go. Chris?
I'll tell you, even though I didn't get a chance to ask him a question, number 2 just seems to have a wonderful happiness going on inside of him right now. I think some real good things are going on for you, so I voted for you.
Beaming from the inside.
Yes.
Kitty.
Well, I felt that it was really number 1, because number 1 said that they weren't going to all be together this Christmas, and I think it would be more tactful to let the foster parents have another day. So I voted for number 1.
Well, votes all in. Split between number 1, who has 2 votes, and number 2 who has 2 votes. Number 3, you didn't get a vote. Well, now for the moment of truth. Will the real Dean Gilbert please stand up? Number 1. Number 1. Dean, we'll come right back to you. Let's find out first who your imposters are. Number 2, your name and what do you do?
My name is Phillip Hill, and I'm an architect.
Wonderful. A happy architect. Beaming.
Happy architect.
Number 3.
My name is Ed Franklin, and I'm a manufacturer's representative. I sell furniture to furniture stores.
Wonderful. Well, there were 2 incorrect votes, and at $500 a vote, your team will receive $1,000. Now, Dean, let's meet the brother that you found after 35 years, John Johnson. Come on in, John. You guys, when you first saw each other, did you say, God, we look alike?
We do.
Yeah, that is great. I got to tell you something, Dean. You know, I couldn't wait for this moment. I've got to tell you, right now, I'm going to let you meet somebody. Her name is Lynn Swann. She's your sister. She's standing right there. This is the first time they've seen each other in 35 years. Jolene, when you found out that all this was going on, what was your first thought?
Well, I'd been searching, so this is great.
So it's all together. Well, this is going to be a great Christmas day for your family. I want you to enjoy it and remember it, and there's going to be a lot more down the road. Thank all of you for being here today on To Tell the Truth. We wish you the best.
Thank you.
We'll be back to play one-on-one with someone from our studio audience right after this. Now it's time to play one-on-one with someone from our studio audience. So, Burton, who do you have for us today?
Well, Lynn, today we have Barbara Cohen from El Toro, California.
Barbara, welcome to the show. Here's your chance to play one-on-one. I want you to meet a gentleman with 2 stories. Please welcome Mr. X. Now, Barbara, he is going to tell you 2 stories. Only one is the truth. If you spot that true story, you'll win $500. So listen very carefully. Mr. X, what is your first story?
My name is Hank Ketchum. I created the Dennis the Menace cartoon strip.
That may or may not be the truth, so listen to story number 2.
My name is Johnny Marks. I composed the music for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Okay, panel, here's your chance to help Barbara win $500. We'll start with the first story, Dennis the Menace. Kitty.
Mr. X, how long has Dennis the Menace been in the newspapers?
40 years.
Thank you.
Chris?
What inspired the character, Dennis the Menace?
My son.
Peggy.
Who played Dennis on TV?
Jay North.
Orson.
What's the name of the neighbor that Dennis drives crazy?
George Wilson.
He's in an asylum right now. Now, Barbara, that's story number 1. Listen to this is story number 2, the man who wrote the song Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Mr. X, would it be indiscreet to ask you how much you've made out of that show till now?
It would be, yes.
Okay.
It's comfortable.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. X, if you wrote Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, obviously you're a musician. How many different types of chords are there in the first verse?
In the first verse?
First verse.
Well, there are only about 4 different chord changes.
In the whole song?
That's right.
That's good enough.
Peggy.
Thank you. Mr. Marks, was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer written for a show, or was it by itself first and then the show came later?
It was written from a book written by Robert May. In 1949, I wrote it. And the book was written for the Montgomery Ward Company and was given away as a freebie.
Oh, thank you.
Orson.
Do you have a favorite recording artist who's done it other than Gene Autry, the original?
Oh, I think Bing did a pretty good job.
Who?
Bing Crosby did a pretty good job.
Okay. Barbara, you've heard the cross-examination. Is our Mr. X the man who created Dennis the Menace, or did he compose Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
I think he's the man who created Dennis the Menace because, first of all, he looks like he has a good sense of humor, and he seemed to know more about that, too.
Okay. What is your true story, Mr. X?
To tell the truth, my name is Hank Ketchum, and I created Dennis the Menace.
There we go, Barbara. $500. Thank you for playing one-on-one. Now, Hank, Dennis was created 1950, huh?
1950 was created, released in 1951 to 18 newspapers.
He hasn't aged a bit. We have a picture. Can you tell us about that very first drawing of Dennis the Menace?
Oh, that was, yes, it shows the Mitchell family being heisted from their little silver they have. And Dennis's father is down there and with a drawn gun, and a proud little Dennis looks up at his dad and says, "Attaboy, Dad, squirt it right in his eye."
That's great. It still works today. And for all of you who are interested in reading the history of Dennis the Menace, you can in Hank's new book called The Merchant of Dennis.
Correct.
Thank you very much for being here on To Tell the Truth.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back in just a moment. Thank you all for joining us this Christmas Day. We'll see you next time on To Tell the Truth. Merry Christmas!
Tired of going to the same place every New Year's? Then get on board for the GSN New Year's Getaway. New Year's Eve, party on the Nile with 7 hours of the $100,000 Pyramid. Then New Year's Day, we fly south of the border for a 3-hour Lingo Fiesta.
El Fuego de Lingo.
After that, say aloha to never-before-seen episodes as Lingo goes Hawaiian. This New Year's, GSN is taking you to places you'll never forget.
Perfect.
The New Year's Getaway starts with the Pyramid at noon on New Year's Eve Day and continues with special exotic episodes of Lingo at 3 p.m. New Year's Day, only on GSN.
You guys, when you first saw each other, did you say, God, we look alike?
We do.
Yeah.